Here we go. Chapter 19, Sasquatch Toes. Pearl and Ben followed Mr. Tabby down the hall. Can we talk to Cobblestone later? Pearl asked. I have so many questions. Like, why do leprechauns even make shoes? And do they make anything else, like hats or maybe raincoats? Do they do anything else? And why are they so small? And is there a king of the leprechauns? Are they related to gnomes? Because it kind of looks like one of the garden gnomes that's in Miss Fruit's garden. And how do they hide their gold? And do they really hide it at the end of the rainbow? I'd like to find how to reach the end of a rainbow, Ben said. Mr. Tabby just growled. If you wish to not to test my patience, then I advise that you stop asking such bothersome questions. But, Mr. Tabby spun around. Consider yourself lucky, Pearl Petal, for today you stole a leprechaun's gold and lived to tell. If the leprechaun's magic had not been clogged with sniffles and snot, then you would surely not be standing before me this very moment. He's a level 3 on the danger scale, remember? Ben whispered. I'm sorry, Pearl said, and she really was. The last thing she wanted was to make a mess of things. I won't go near a level 3 creature again until you tell me I'm ready. Very wise indeed. And they all climbed onto the conveyor belt and Mr. Tabby pushed the button. He looked a bit silly sitting cross-legged in his crisply pleated pants. As they entered the tunnel, Pearl couldn't hold back her next question. Wouldn't it be easier for us to just walk through the rooms rather than ride this thing? We are taking this mode of transportation because there are parts of the hospital that you are not allowed to see. The conveyor belt is left over from the factory days when it was part of the Button Factory's assembly line. Dr. Wu finds it most efficient for transporting sick creatures, especially if the creature is rather large and heavy. He led them back to the lobby. He does look a little bit silly, doesn't he? And then he made a face looking at Ben. Ben Silverstein, yes? Do you remember what happened when you did not bolt the front door during your last visit? Yeah, I remember. The Sasquatch got loose. Ben's cheeks turned bright red. Oh no, did it get loose again? Fortunately, it did not, said Mr. Tabby as he slid the bolt into place. But you must never leave this door unlocked again. There is someone who wants in, a very dangerous someone who would stop at nothing to get inside this hospital. Do you mean Mrs. Mulberry? Pearl asked. She is the snoopiest person in Buttonville. I am not referring to Miss Mulberry. However, we will be installing a new front door security system. It is being shipped from Iceland. He strode over to the elevator and pushed the button, and the doors swished open. You will now cease asking questions and resume your duties on the 3rd floor. Pearl and Ben stepped into the elevator. Who do you think he was talking about? Pearl asked as the elevator rose. I don't know, Ben said, and I don't really want to find out. Perhaps now was not the time, but at some point Pearl definitely wanted to learn all there was about the mysterious, dangerous person who would stop at nothing to get inside the hospital. Up in the forest suite, the Sasquatch lay on its back, snoring. Sounds like my grandfather, Ben said. It took a while to find the clippers amidst the thick undergrowth. Pearl carefully picked up the chewing gum from the Sasquatch's fur while Ben clipped. The sharp yellow shards flew through the air, embedding themselves in trees. And soon, all 10 toes had tidy, short nails. The Sasquatch twitched a few times, but stayed asleep. What do you think he's dreaming about? Pearl asked. Maybe his home or his family. I was just thinking that we should stop calling the Sasquatch an it. Shouldn't we call it a he or a she? I guess so, said Ben. But what is it? They both shrugged and decided to ask Mr. Tabby some other time. So what do we do now? Pearl whispered, not wanting to wake the sleeping giant. We can go downstairs and get our extra assignment, Ben replied. But we'd better do it without breaking any rules this time. I don't want to get fired. They stepped back into the elevator. Ben reached out to push the first floor button when that nasal voice sounded from the speaker in the elevator's control panel. Apprentices to Dr. Wu's office immediately. Uh-oh, Ben and Pearl said at the same time. There was only one person that could fire them, and that person had just returned.